Welcome, my name is Patricia Hope, and I've been following these teachings of the Ascended Masters given by the messengers Mark and Elizabeth Clare Prophet for 25 years now. And I can tell you that my life has changed profoundly in all aspects. I live in England and attend the London Teaching Centre of the Summit Lighthouse, and where we share these teachings. Welcome to the Blueprint for Healing, techniques for true healing and balance in body, emotion, mind and spirit. I'd like to share with you spiritual keys, and these are keys that are simple yet practical. When we apply them, we will bring healing at deep levels of our being. They can be used for others as well as ourselves and our communities, nations and planet. Now, as you know, healing needs to go beyond the physical plane, and that's where I'd like to begin. We lead stressful lives, don't we? And we need to understand why we're hurting physically, mentally, emotionally as well. And we may be eating a good diet, we could be exercising, using stress reduction techniques, but we're still not whole. There's still that soul pain within. The state of our spirit determines the vibrancy of our health. This webinar is based on the spiritual teachings of Elizabeth Clare Prophet, an internationally recognized author and spiritual teacher. Mrs. Prophet passed into the octaves of light in 2009. But for more than 30 years, she taught about healing angels, karma and reincarnation, and the mystical paths of the world's religions. She wrote over 100 books and left a vast body of teachings, which continues to be published today. She held seminars around the world on the lost arts of healing and the healing power of angels. Mrs. Prophet taught that we're not just our physical body. We are a magnificent spiritual being wearing a physical body. Now here's an illustration of what we look like from a spiritual perspective. This is the chart of our divine self. Our spiritual reality contains three figures. The upper figure is our God self, and the middle figure is our inner teacher, our Christ self or Buddha self. And the lower figure is us as a soul evolving on earth. Isn't it a beautiful picture? That's one of my favorite pictures of all time. So the upper figure is called the I Am Presence, because I am that I am is the name that God revealed. That was his name. He revealed it to Moses on Mount Sinai. It's an ancient name, and yet we use it every day, don't we? We say I am all the time. But when we say I am, we're really saying God in me. Christians think of the I Am Presence as God the Father, and to Hindus, it's Brahma. Buddhists call it the Dharmakaya. Whatever we call it, it's the Spirit of God individualized in each one of us. According to our level of devotion, our I Am Presence may be near or far from us. When we draw near to God through loving thoughts, feelings and actions, our I Am Presence will draw near to us. Our I Am Presence is surrounded by 7 concentric spheres of spiritual energy that make up what is called our causal body. These spheres of pulsating energy contain the record of all the good works we have ever performed. They are like our cosmic bank account in heaven, spheres of light inside each other. Notice the green sphere, because this is related to healing. The middle figure of our inner teacher is the inner Christ. This Christ self can be thought of as our dearest friend and our chief guardian angel. The Christ self is that voice that speaks within our heart. You know, that still small voice that speaks, that voice of conscience that tells us right from wrong. As well as having the 7 spheres of light above us, we also have 7 spiritual centers in our bodies. They are called chakras or energy centers. Our 7 major chakras are positioned along the spine. and they correspond to various organs in the physical body and the different groups of nerve centers. Different teachings show different colors of the chakras. As you can probably see, you might have seen other colors than the ones you see on the screen. But these colors are taught by the Ascended Masters through their messenger, Mark and Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Chakras are sending and receiving station for energy, dynamic energy centers that constantly take in, store, and send out spiritual energy and light. Life, energy, or prana flows through the body along a network of thread-like nerve channels that correspond to the meridians used in acupuncture and other healing techniques. Our body's 7 energy centers are the gateways to the spiritual self. When we understand the flow of energy in our chakras, we can work with them to bring our body, mind, and emotion into balance with our higher nature. The chart of the presence and the chakras show that we are powerful spiritual beings. When we understand who we are in a spiritual sense, we have the opportunity to access spiritual energy for healing. We have 4 lower bodies, which are our vehicles for expression. We can think of these bodies as sheaths for the soul. They're interpenetrating energetic fields that surround the soul. And together with our chakras, these 4 lower bodies create the aura and our state of health. And as you can see, the 4 lower bodies are the etheric, which is the white quadrant that you see there, and that's corresponding to the fire element. And the etheric body is also called our memory body. And then we have our mental body, which is where our thoughts come from, and that corresponds with the air element. And then we have our emotional body, of course, where our feelings come from, and that corresponds to the water element. And then we have our physical body, which corresponds to the earth, as you can imagine, and that's where our physicality is manifested. Healing is about energy flow, about harmony, balance, and flow of energy in our 4 lower bodies, and this is a good basis for healing. And the first key that I'm going to talk about is for the spiritual or the etheric body. The source of all healing is light, and we can access the light of the higher self through spiritual technique. These can bring healing to the spirit and the soul. One powerful tool for transformation is prayer. It's the language of the soul. It's a conversation with God, and it's communion and with listening to his answers. Prayer can be silent or interior, or it can be spoken aloud, as in affirmations or decrees. Decrees are a part of a system of spoken prayer called the science of the spoken word. They incorporate meditations, mantras, visualizations, and breathing techniques. Decrees are positive affirmations that use the name of God, I am that I am. The main purpose is to make contact with our higher self. We can draw on that spiritual energy to create positive change for ourselves and in the world around us. One simple but powerful key is to call forth our own tube of light. We can see the tube of light in the lower figure of the chart. It's our seamless garment. It descends around us like a waterfall of light. And it's our armor of protection because it seals the mass consciousness and the energies of the world. It protects us from them. It's 9 feet in diameter, and it comes from our I Am presence above us and goes all the way down into the earth beneath us. We can use a mantra for accessing the tube of light. And here it is. As we give this decree, we can visualize ourselves as the lower figure of the chart of our divine self standing in and sealed in the tube of light. And within the tube of light is a beautiful healing violet light. We'll talk about that later. So now let's give this decree together. And while we say it, Let's visualize ourselves standing in this beautiful white tube of light together. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet flame. And this tube of light helps protect us from all discord. We find it easier to visualize this when we're standing, because the goal is to feel devotion and whilst we're visualizing this. It's not always easy to do when you very first come upon it, but as you practice, it gets easier and easier. I do this every day. I couldn't live a day properly without putting on my tube of light, because it really helps to protect me from the energies that are around and about us. So let's give this one more time. And remember to visualize this tube of light around us. And if we can manage to have the violet light in it as well, that would be really great. Together. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet flame. We could give this 3 times every morning. And of course, any other time of the day that you like. The second lower body is the mental body, which governs the mind. And we're going to talk about the emerald ray for healing this, for healing the stress and worry and anxiety and things like that that are manifesting in our mental body. The color of the healing ray is emerald green. The chakra associated with this healing ray is the third eye chakra. It's located in the center of the brow. The third eye is an important chakra for healing, and it's connected with vision, both spiritual and physical, and some people call it the mind's eye. We are intended to see God's creation as He sees it, pure and perfect. And the chakra helps us see ourselves, our bodies, our organs in their perfect state. It's the key to drawing healing energy. We can use what is called the science of the Immaculate Concept to help manifest wholeness for ourselves and others. This healing light can be placed around any organ, body part, city or nation. Wherever healing is needed, the healing ray or flame can be invoked. Let's practice this now. Is there a part of your being that needs healing, or someone you can think of, or a situation or relationship that needs healing? Take a moment to visualize it in the green healing flame. When we can use our third eye chakra, along with our crown chakra, which is the yellow one, then we'll be able to use our inner vision to perceive the reality of a situation. This connects us to the realm of a higher mind with its flashes of insight, genius, and originality. The word insight means the power of seeing into a situation, into oneself, or into the inner nature of things, discernment. Insights and our intuitions are the interior revelations that come to us through the third eye chakra when we're in tune with our higher self. These revelations can come as hunches, promptings, or visions. Mrs. Prophet said, "Many times, if God wants to do something or know something, I find that he will put a picture in front of me. I will literally get a vision, an image of what I need to do." Let us now give a meditation on the third eye conducted by Mrs. Prophet.
Let's meditate on the third eye chakra. This is not a dangerous procedure if you do so under the blessed presence of Archangel Raphael, Mother Mary, and some of the Ascended Masters. So, when we take the name of God, I am, or I am that I am, we are affirming that God is where we are. Think of the word I am as God in me is. And whatever comes next, God in me is beholding all. Mine eye is single, one-pointed, single vision. Mine eye is single as I call. Raise me now and set me free. What do we want to raise? We want to raise up the light. We want to raise up our souls. We want to raise up our hearts to God. We want to raise our vibrations from the doldrums and depression into the great joy of just being and knowing that we are a part of God. We want to be God's holy image. This is a mantra. You should use prayers as mantras that make sense to you, that are meaningful, that touch your heart, or that you can understand. So let us affirm this. You can close your eyes when you know the 4 lines. Put your attention right here at the brow. Visualize God's all-seeing eye, similar to that which you see on the screen. And know that your two-eyed vision is always relative, always divided, never absolute, because it is two-eyed vision. It is relative vision. We want to get back to the vision of God that we had in the beginning. We want to understand with certainty what is real, what is not real, who we are, where we are going. These are the deep things of God that lie in our souls. We call to Raphael and beloved Blessed Mother Mary, come to us now, open our eyes that we might see and know what is our acceptable calling in God in this life. Therefore, with great joy and love, we affirm in your name, I am, beholding all. Mine eye is single as I call. Raise me now and set me free, thy holy image now to be. I am, beholding all. Mine eye is single as I call. Raise me now and set me free, thy holy image now to be. I am, beholding all. Mine eye is single as I call. Raise me now and set me free, thy holy image now to be.
Emotional body. As you can see, it corresponds with the water element. And water can be calm as a peaceful lake, or it can be agitated if the waters are stirred, or it can even have a destructive power of a tidal wave. In the same way, our emotions can be calm or agitated. Healing is assisted by the calming of the emotions in the water body. And one of the most profound keys for healing the 4 lower bodies, especially the emotional body, is the violet flame. The color violet is the color of forgiveness, mercy, and freedom. We can visualize ourselves standing in the sphere of violet light and imagine the violet flame passing through our consciousness, mind, feelings, and emotions. And when we do this, we can undo psychological problems, depressions, and records of the past. And what are records of the past? Well, some call them karma. They simply mean the energy we set in motion in the past. This energy always returns to us, positive or negative. And the benefit of the violet flame is that it can balance or purify past karma or energetic records. High-frequency energy of the violet flame can bring about the healing of our emotional body. It can bring comfort to our thoughts and feelings, and it can also heal our physical body. And forgiveness is often the beginning of healing. When Jesus healed, he often said, "Thy sins be forgiven thee." And what was happening when he did that was an arc of light from his causal body, you know, the spheres that were above his head, were transferred through his chakras to the one who lacked wholeness. The price we pay for lack of forgiveness is lack of peace, creating dis-ease in our mental or emotional world, and this leads to physical disease. A sense of guilt, feeling of self-condemnation stand in the way of healing. Forgiving ourselves is an important key. God forgives us readily, so why don't we? To help us, we can call on the law of forgiveness. We can see the mercy flame, a flame of pink violet, sweep through every cell and atom of our aura, and gratefully accept God's mercy and grace. This flame is like a cosmic eraser. By invoking the flame of mercy, we are using the Holy Spirit. It erases or transmutes the effects, memory, and the cause of sin, and so balancing karma. Let's give the violet flame now, using the mantra for forgiveness. Think of a situation in your life that needs forgiveness and put it into the violet forgiving flame as you say this decree. Imagine the violet flame changing the negative energy of a situation into love, peace, and forgiveness. Here it is. Shall we say this together? I am forgiveness acting here, casting out all doubt and fear, setting men forever free with wings of cosmic victory. I am calling in full power for forgiveness every hour. To all life in every place, I flood forth forgiving grace. The last of the four lower bodies is the physical body. True healing is alignment with the inner blueprint, the will of God. And the inner blueprint is blue in color, as you can imagine by the name, and the color of healing is green, as we've already talked about, and the white light is the color of purity and perfection. This is the healing thought form and uses all three of those colors. It's an amazing spiritual tool. Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of Healing, gave us this healing thought form to provide healing for all of the four lower bodies. Let us watch Mrs. Prophet as she explains how the healing thought form works.
Raphael and the Blessed Mother. They work with healers in every field. They inspire new cures and alternate healing methods upon scientists, those trained in the healing arts, those in the medical profession. There are many avenues of healing that are valid. Whatever avenue you may explore, be certain that you don't discount traditional medical care. When you have a serious condition in your body, you need to consider all of your options. God has released wondrous cures through medical science. These have been dispensations of grace that have prolonged life in the 20th century. and make our everyday life worth living. I say this to you because some people who get into religion think that prayer alone is sufficient. The angels work with the best of minds in the earth to bring out the greatest results, the most comfort to the people. I think we should pray steadfastly, because I think when you are in a life and death situation, when things are touchy and surgery, that is when the prayers of many hearts united can tip the scales for a victory. We call to the angels to overshadow the doctors, chiropractors, healers of all kinds. We call to Raphael and his angels because they are master surgeons, just as the seraphim of God are master surgeons and healing. So I think if we bring all things together from heaven and earth, we will find the best results in our lives. So you need to know when you need which kind of a practitioner. You need to get second opinions. Raphael's angels overshadow faculties of medical schools and scientists and innovators in every branch of health. Raphael says they use laser technology to penetrate to the very core of a cell, to expand the violet flame from within it, and to seal that cell in what is called the healing thought form. I'll tell you what the healing thought form is. It's a thought form created by the archangels. It's composed of 3 concentric spheres, and it focuses and intensifies God's healing light anywhere on the body. This is a picture of the healing thought form. You can see that I've had our artist draw this superimposed over a heart. Now I'm going to tell you what each of those spheres does. The sphere of white, surrounded by blue, suspended in a globe of green. First of all, you use your mind's eye to visualize your physical organs that need healing. Most of us don't have the 100% optimal functioning of every organ in our bodies. Whatever you want to have healed in your body or in someone else's body, you first need to get a picture of the organ itself. That's why it's good to keep a good anatomy book handy, right along with your Bible and your prayer tools. So you visualize the energy of the thought form penetrating the cell, the molecule, the very core of the atom of the organ that you place your attention on. If you or a loved one suffers an injury, visualize that organ, that eye, that heart filled with the light of the healing thought form and saturated with a violet flame. The first minutes and hours after an accident are critical. Whether you keep the vigil at the bedside or at a distance, you must picture the injured parts in their original healthy state, in perfect working order. Now, when you have a momentum on giving this decree that we just gave on the third eye, you have a momentum on clearing the third eye, on keeping it pure, on holding what we call the Immaculate Concept. The Immaculate Concept and how to hold it is taught by Mary, the mother of Jesus. She teaches us to use our third eye to see the best, the most beautiful, the perfect conception of any part of life. When you look at someone with that eye of love, that eye of God, you see in them the very best, instead of tearing them down or criticizing or judging or analyzing. And so that love sustains your picture of their perfection, and it helps them to become it. So here you are with some loved one, someone very dear to you who has been in a major accident. And the most important thing you can do is keep this eye concentrating on the perfect picture. Keep it steady, just like when you take a photograph. If you move, it'll be a blur. So don't move your eye from holding that perfection. Discipline your emotions, your fears of the worst. Speak to your emotions and say, "Peace, be still, and know that I am God." Those are the words of Jesus. You must still your emotions so that your emotional energy does not interfere with the critical healing process. Then repeat the mantra we just gave over and again. It will help you discipline your mind and emotions. You need to bar the door against what the mind is saying and what the emotions are fearing. You still all anxiety, doubt, and fear. You need to keep this concentration during the initial crisis and later every 15 minutes, then every hour. You need to hold the healing thought form in your mind to the exclusion of all else. Don't let people talk to you. Don't sit in the waiting room crying and talking about it. You need to go to a quiet place because you are an alchemist. You are using the violet flame. You're using the mind of God, and that has greater power than anything in this world.
There's no right or wrong way to pray, but here's an example. Beloved God, presence of me, take command of my four low bodies and of my being and world. Create and sustain in me a perfect picture of the divine design. And we can place people, situations into the healing thought form. And here's some examples. Our children, our families, our world even. As you know, healing is not always physical. We have the healing of the emotions or the spirit or the mind as well. But we also might still have to bear a disease in our body because we have lessons that it can teach us. Healing is a complex equation, and it often cycles through the four lower bodies, beginning with the etheric and ending in the physical. This is why healing takes time, and we often need to be patient. This is where surrender is important. Complete surrender to the will of God for one's life can often bring the desired healing into manifestation. Just the acceptance of the words of Christ, "Not my will but thine be done, Father," can bring peace to one's world. I want to stress that all four of these healing techniques can be used in each of the four lower bodies. All of these flames can be used for spiritual issues, mental conditions, emotional imbalances and burdens, and physical conditions. True healing, body, mind and soul, is a process that is both an art and a science. It takes patience, constancy and love to heal our soul and spirit, and it begins with our own blueprint for healing as we apply these four keys to balance and wholeness. I invite you to experience Mrs. Prophet's profound healing messages from the angels. We have another recording of a dictation by Archangel Raphael and the Archangel of Healing, which he delivered through Mrs. Prophet. Thank you so much for participating. God bless you.